The allure of artificial intelligence, it sort of kicks into the media every so often because people are understandably quite frightened about it. It presents a golden opportunity on the one hand and a potential minefield for businesses and individuals on the other. Its transformative power, evident in sectors like healthcare, education, infrastructure, promises efficiencies and innovations once thought impossible, yet without a clear understanding of its risks, the consequences of misuse are dire. Uh, the the allure, the appeal, lies in its ability to revolutionize processes, much like Turing's bomb. It speeds things up. It has the potential to reduce waiting lists in the NHS, to optimize teaching methods for individualized learning, to streamline administrative tasks, to free up professionals to focus on human centric aspects of their roles. In the UK, already the third largest AI global market, boasts thriving tech ecosystems and leading academic institutions already using AI, and AI growth zones and substantial investments like Vantage data centres, £12 billion project, illustrate AI's potential for job creation and economic revitalisation. By automating mundane tasks, AI can give back time to real workers, allowing them to focus on creativity and connection. Models like ChatGPT, Dall-e, GitHub, Copilot all showcase AI's ability to produce text, images, code, enabling businesses to innovate faster and more cost effectively. But if people don't use if people expect the AI to do the creative input, then they've misunderstood the nature of AI. AI cannot do that creative control, and this really is the problem. The EU AI Act mirrors the GDPR's stringent penalties, with fines up to 3% for global turnover for 15 million euros of non-compliance, and mismanagement of training data or failure to meet transparency requirements will result in significant sanctions. The IP litigation, AI tools trained on copyright materials, will lead to lawsuits, and users could be exposed to liability if generated content infringes third-party IP. And if people are simply plugging stuff into AI machines, then they won't necessarily know where they have infringed copyright. This is the problem. And user inputs, often stored and reused for model training, pose risks of exposing confidential and personal data, and mishandling this data can lead to breaches and reputational damage. And the lack of clarity in ownership rights over generated content adds significant complexity to the problems of AI. Not only the fact that AI doesn't do hands. When you get AI to generate an image, the hands are all over the place. It's one of the things which drew attention to the Princess of Wales touched up photographs, that the hands were all over the place. Integrating AI without proper risk assessments, therefore, can lead to expensive rollbacks, especially if the tool needs to be removed from core business functions. And once you've started relying on AI, I think removing it will cause a big problem. AI systems are prone to inaccuracies and, frankly, AI hallucinations. AI, robots dream. They produce misleading and harmful content, and once they've started, they follow that through, and that erodes trust and business reliability. And then there's the willful mishandling of AI systems through IP infringement, privacy violations, unpredictable outputs, which tarnish a company's brand and which erodes public trust. AI tools need to be, they're not ready yet. They need to be equipped with ethical and regulatory governance or regulations, rules, particularly in high-risk industries. A lack of transparency in AI decisions harms consumer trust. It leads to stricter oversight and diminishes innovation and flexibility. So if the rules are imposed from outside, from government, that's going to restrict what AI can actually do. AI's brilliance is its ability to go beyond where perhaps a human mind would go, its ability to follow an idea. But if you're then told you can't do that, then AI becomes almost worthless. So it's up to the people who are developing AI to develop the rules within the AI to ensure that there isn't harm. And also to find ways to get round those rules as well, so that one can indeed test systems. But there needs to be a distinction between the testing of the system and the publication of what a system can generate. And failure to navigate or to understand these challenges leads to sanctions and legal repercussions, greater scrutiny by people like the ministers in the digital culture, media and sport, who are incompetent at the best of times. And AI is a call signature simply for them to get more wrong. So regulatory bodies will intensify their scrutiny with high-profile penalties for data misuse and non-compliance, and rules which are asinine in the extreme. What's an algorithm? Do you remember people getting into Nadine Dorries getting into troubles with what's an algorithm? I mean, it's the madness of people in power. And businesses seen as reckless in their AI use risk losing customer trust, particularly in industries like finance, healthcare, and actually the luxury goods market. The financial impact of abandoned AI projects, coupled with potential litigation costs, will cripple businesses. So it's important for AI to get in there first and regulate the system from within, rather than have it imposed from without in a way that will cripple what it does best. So for people to harness AI safely, you need to do some sort of risk assessments as much as you can. You need to regularly evaluate the purpose and the risks of using AI tools. You need to document mitigation strategies to ensure compliance with rules like the EU AI Act and the GDPR and the coming AI legislation from the UK. You need to implement robust measures to protect proprietary and personal data and to train employees on confidentiality protocols. You need to review the terms of use, particularly for IP safeguards, particularly concerning ownership rights and liability clauses. You need to make sure that there's a certain amount of transparency and explainability, and that's difficult because you can't, once you start the AI tool working, you can't be sure where it's going to go. But users and stakeholders in the business need to understand the limitations and the capabilities of AI. And probably a business looking at AI needs to start with low-risk applications, refining use before scaling AI integration into critical business functions. Otherwise, we're going to end up in a chaos. And I find as a teacher, when my students use AI like ChatGPT, if they just put in the entire essay and say, produce an essay on this, it's obvious that it's been generated by ChatGPT. If, on the other hand, they're using ChatGPT to check facts and to and sometimes even to mark work, it's an interesting process, and it's a sort of creative use of ChatGPT or other AI tools. The mixing real work with AI generated work is an interesting way forward, and that is creative, using there's a thing that you can draw something or paint something, and then you can put it into a machine which will enhance that painting, and that's an interesting use of AI, I think. But it's by far, it's definitely not foolproof, and it's definitely full of problems. People on the other side of my life, people ask me whether or not you can use AI for animation, and there's lots of tools which are out there which are suggesting that that is possible. But so far, I don't see, in the sort of animation that I do, which is 2D animation, I don't see that there's an application. In the same way as I don't really see that there's an application that can genuinely read newspapers and analyze information. I think I think in the end, I give myself about 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours at night to read through stories which I think are interesting, and increasingly I find I type up scripts. Sometimes I go off script, but I don't I don't think there are tools which will do this for me. If anybody knows of them, I'd be delighted to find them. But I don't think there are tools uh, that can do it as fast as the human mind. Also, I think it's good to give the mind exercise. It helps with the various bits of the frontal lobe, and if like me, you were essentially left-handed, and were converted, it presumably means that my language processing is in the wrong hemisphere. But it's an interesting problem, and I have yet to find an AI tool that is faster. But I'm certainly not dismissing it. I think one needs to be very, very careful